Salutations everyone, Rizner here, and welcome to Civilization 5. Civilization 5 is the fifth, of course, entry in the strategy game Civilization. That's pretty obvious from the title, I guess, now that I say that out loud. It's a really cool game. In it, you lead a country from the beginning of recorded history to the future. If you want to know more about it, I highly suggest you check it out on the Steam store. It typically goes on sale pretty often, so if you are interested in it, you can probably buy it, and it's two excellent expansions for... I got them for around $15 a few years ago, so something like that in a sale sometime would probably be pretty likely. As you can see, if you've been reading this thing here, we're going to be playing as Japan in this game. Japan gets several unique bonuses to the game, which you can see here. You may not know what these bonuses do yet. It can be a complicated game at times. I'm just going to try to go through each of the different sections of the game as we encounter them. Just kind of explain it as we go. We also have two unique units, which I will talk about when we get to them. And with that all said and done, let's start. Let's see. So we have a pretty good start here. Our settler here, who's going to build our first city, started next to a river, which is always nice, as well as a coastal tile, so we can build ships later on. Also, there's gold and several tiles of cotton right nearby. It's unfortunate it's not on a hill, which would be nice, but I think we're going to have to settle for this and go ahead and found our city. Alright, there we go. Alright, so with that done, we're going to take our warrior unit here. He's going to be our main combat unit for this first stage of the game, the Ancient Era. And we're going to use him to explore the surrounding landscape. Now that we've moved all our units, we're going to check out research. Research in Civilization 5 is done on a tech tree, a technology tree. Civilization was probably one of the first video games to use a technology tree to try and delinearize. I don't think that's a word. Make the game less linear so that you can take different paths depending on what you want to focus on. I think for this game, I'd like to focus on doing a combat victory, domination victory. So we want to go for something that'll kind of help us out with that. But this early in the game, let's see. So let's see. We had that gold right there. What do we need? If we need mining to do it, how to do this? Okay, technology tree. So if we get that, we can actually start to build a mine on that gold and get that resource. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, all right. And production in our first city. We're going to go ahead and turn out a scout so that we can explore the surroundings faster and figure out who's around us. And that will be it for the first turn. So Civilization 5, I've had this game for several years now, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a great game. I personally think it's one of the best Civilization games. It's the one that I probably enjoyed the most. I just realized I don't have a timer anywhere, so I'm not going to be able to know how long this goes on. Oh well. Yeah, so I've probably enjoyed this one the most. I think it's a great game. I highly recommend it if you think or if you think you would like strategy games like this. Yeah. See, so we got some bananas over here. Looks like that's a jungle tile, so we're probably somewhere near the equator on the map. Which means we're going to have to, I don't know. I mean, just means we're just going to determine what kind of resources we get. So, like cotton and such like. Alright, looks like there's another coastline over here. Lots of fish. It's always good. Actually, I'll show you the city screen now. I guess I should have done that when I started. The city screen is what allows you to control each of your cities, determine what they do. You saw we have the production down here. You can choose what you're producing. So cities have a border radius. That's this little colored area right here. And cities can only work tiles within those borders. So if you open up citizen management, it'll show you what tiles are being worked, and you can change them. So currently, our one citizen, because we have a single population right here, one pop is what the terminology is. and he is working one of these cotton tiles, and he's getting us 2 food and 2 gold out of it. And you can see the total production of the city here. That's plus, let's see, so you see we get just 2 gold from the terrain, that's that right there, and plus 3 from buildings. That would be from the palace structure that we start the game with. We also get plus 4 science from our palace, and 1 from the population we have in the city. As well, and same with production, and well, food is just from the terrain. And so food says plus 2, even though it says 4 from terrain, because 2 of it is being eaten by our citizens. As you get more and more citizens, you require more and more food, and that eventually puts a cap on the amount of population you can have in a single city. Obviously, we don't actually have only 1 person in the city, it's just a representation of a large number of people doing something. Let's see, so talk about that. Let's hit next turn. We'll keep exploring and figuring out our overall plan for the game. Let's go ahead and head south. I think it looks like it might be like cut off here and we're like on the edge of the continent, but I don't know. This is a continents map, so it's going to be several large land masses with maybe a couple of small islands in between. Pretty much like the real planet. Despite this being labeled as a historical game, yeah, I'll tell you what that means in a second. Despite this being labeled as a historical game, it really isn't. It has sort of a historical backdrop, but it's a game. I mean, there's no attempt at historical accuracy. I think one of the guys who made the first Civilization game said that all of the historical material that they needed could be found in the children's section of the library. So that should tell you about the amount of accuracy to expect. It's still a fun game, though, even if it's more game-oriented than historical simulation. Kind of stuffed up a little bit. I think I got allergies, just, from the season. So if I sound a little bit off, that's probably why. Let's see, so there are only 2 turns getting that scout. So that'll be nice. Let's head south. So, as you can see, when our warrior moves through the jungle tiles, he moves less distance because the jungle impedes his movement. So he gets, let's see, let's say here he gets 2 movement points a turn, but the jungle takes 2 movement points to move through. Alright, next turn, about to get our scout. We'll send our scout up north, just to, spread out our exploration a little bit. Alright, cool. So, I told you guys I explained what that thing over there was, and I didn't, but this is what it was, or something like what it is, so I'll explain now, even though I lied earlier. Alright, so this is a city-state. A city-state is not another player in the game. It is sort of so it's a single city that you can build influence with, and they will give you gifts and resources and become your ally if you do so. Eventually, you can get, whenever you get into the later stage of the game, when you form the World Council, you can get votes from city-states to win the game via diplomatic victory. So since we're the first empire they met, they provide you with a gift of 30 gold. So this city-state has the maritime trait, so they will boost the food of your capital and whenever you're friends. So as your influence increases, you become friends and then allies, and all your cities win your allies. It has an irrational personality, which means the quests or requests that it makes of you are going to be random. And the resources that it has is whales, and it will give you these if you become an ally of it. Whew, that was a mouthful. Alright, send our scout up north. Okay, cool. So this is a ruin. Whenever you send a unit into a ruin, it will give you some kind of bonus. There's a lot of different types. Also, you may have noticed, I did not have to stop at one tile in the jungle. Scouts have a special ability here that says they ignore the cost of moving on terrain. So that's why. You can see there's another city-state over here. That's what I was going to talk about. Oh. Also, barbarians here. So barbarians are a non-player enemy. and they will attack just about anybody, so, including the city-states here. I didn't mean to click on that. And they spawn out of these encampments that they're in right now, and they will wander around and attack things. If you attack them and take out the encampments, I believe you get like a bonus of gold or something. And now that we finished that scout and figure out something else to do, I think we should go ahead and build a worker. So a worker will allow us to build improvements on the tiles around our city. So for example, we could build a mine on this gold if our border expands out there. Or we could build a plantation on this cotton, or a mine on that hill, things like that. Or chop down forests and things. So that's what a worker allows you to do. They're very important for developing your cities. Also, as you can see, this next turn our city is going to grow and have two population instead of one. So that'll double the amount of stuff it gets out of the terrain. Woo! Alright. So we're going to take our scout. We're going to explore these ancient ruins. Unit equips itself with advanced weapons found in the ruins. Let's go back up here. So the scout has become an archer unit. It does keep the thing it had before, the skill it had before that it ignores terrain, so he didn't lose that when it upgraded. But now it is a archer. So archers are similar to warriors. They're a combat unit, but warriors attack by basically, as you can see, moving into the tile that an enemy is in, and they'll fight, and if he wins, he'll move into that tile. While an archer uses their bows to fire from a distance, so they don't take damage when they shoot someone. However, they are very weak whenever a regular melee unit attacks them. Alright, so units, combat units have a zone of influence, and that means if you're moving next to them, someone who's hostile to you, you get a terrain restriction, basically. So I can only move one tile this direction, even though if there's no one there, I could have moved two, like to there or to there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. You just have to slow down a little bit going that way. Our city has 2 citizens, and we'll go next turn. Mining is almost done researching. So we'll deal with that in the turn after this one. We're just going to keep going on exploring. This is what most of the early game is exploring, finding out what's around you, and trying to figure out who your neighbors are, what your goals will be. So as you can see, we found a desert up here, and looks like some kind of, let's see, I don't know, some kind of special resource up there. Just looks kind of odd. Alright, this next turn we're going to get mining. Let's see what time is it. Alright. So mining allows us to build mines and chop down forests. Once we get that worker, he'll be able to do these things. We'll just keep exploring. I'll move him onto this hill. Units on hills get, oh. Here you go, met someone. Alright, since you can't actually tell what she's saying, I'm just going to talk over her. This is another player in the game, an AI player. There are no other humans playing the game. This is single player. But they are competing with you to win the game. So this is China. And let's see how we found them. So we found one of their warriors. So we know they're somewhere in this direction. Let's go back up here to our archer. Move him this way. Oh, hey look, some ruins. And sheep. Alright. Research. So now we finished mining. We have some more choices of stuff we can research. Let's see, so pottery here will allow us to build a granary, which gives us more food, and leads to sailing, the calendar, and writing. Writing is very important for science production. The calendar gives you stuff. A lot of these kind of their value is on what they unlock in the future. Sailing is rather important, especially since we started on the coast. So I think I actually am going to go ahead and do pottery. Also, the calendar lets you build a plantation, which you need for the cotton that we started next to. Just gonna check here, see how many turns until our border grows. Our border is going to grow into this cotton rather than that gold, which I think would make more sense in my opinion. Actually, I don't know if you can control that. I think that's completely controlled by random. So, excuse me. So yeah, so we can't actually control. I imagine the next one, it tends to focus on going for tiles with resources and better yields you can get from them. So it's going for the cotton because it just gives you, I don't know, food instead of production. I guess it thinks that's more important. Yeah, so let's keep going. Maybe we'll find where China, their capital city is later. This next turn, maybe. We're going to move down here just so we can see this city-state there. Hey, we are the first empire. I figured China would have seen them first. Especially since they've been here first. Let's see. See the archer up here. He can move into that ruin. Alright, we received culture. Alright, so with that culture, we get a policy. So a social policy is sort of a bonus to things our empire can do. So, for example, there's several different policy trees. So these trees are, you can pick any, you can go to all of them, I guess, theoretically. Generally, in a single game, you only get to go for maybe 4 or 5 at the most. So you unlock more of them as you go through the game. So let's look at this first one. So tradition. It says best for small empires because it basically is focused on giving a few cities a lot of bonuses. So, for example, this one here says gives you more production when building wonders. Wonders are unique buildings that give bonuses to either a city or a continent or your empire. It gives you free culture building in your first 4 cities, more food in the capital, more gold and less unhappiness for more people in the capital. So this is focused on letting you build a better small empire. Since we're going to go for a conquering route, that probably means we're going to end up with a large empire, so that probably would not be the best choice for us. It would still give us bonuses, but they just wouldn't be as useful to us as, for example, this next one would be. So this is sort of like the other choice as compared to tradition. Liberty is focused on civilizations which want a large number of cities. So this just gives you a bonus to building buildings in cities, not wonders. Build settlers faster. Improve your rate of tile improvement from workers. Give you more cities, or more happiness from having more cities. Things like that. So honor improves your army. Piety increases your faith. Faith is tied into the religion system. I don't think I'm going to go too deep into that. Religion is sort of like social policies, where it's not really a focus of the game, but it gives you bonuses to doing whatever you want to do to win. Yeah, so ideological tenets up here, these come in later in the game, whenever you build your 3rd factory or enter the modern era. This is, well, we can talk about that if we ever get there. So for our first social policy, I think the best choice would probably be liberty, since we want to expand pretty quick to get more cities, to get more production, more units in order to attack our enemies. So that's what we're going to do. So adopting liberty gives us +1 culture in every city and unlocks building the pyramid wonder. So if you can click here, I don't know if it'll let us do it now. No, we don't have the technology for it. But it'll say culture +1 from buildings, +1 from policies, building being the palace here. And culture basically means that we get more social policies faster, and also our borders grow faster. Alright, now we talked about all that, we'll keep moving. Alright, let's see, method city-state, next turn. Gotta take a breather from all that talking I just did. Yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoy this series. I really enjoy this game. Looks like we the game didn't jump me back over there. One second. Alright. Okay, so we moved up here. You found barbarian encampment as well as some ruins. I'm going to move our guy away from the barbarians in case they decide to attack our archer. Alright, so back down here. Looks like we found the Chinese capital. You can see when I mouse over it says tile owned by China. That's their border there. Yeah, so that's all there's to say about that. So now we know where they are. It looks like they're actually a good distance away from us. We actually are not very close to any other people on this map. It looks like just some city-states. Typically, attacking city-states to conquer them is not a great idea. It'll make everyone else want to gang up on you and attack you. And if you're not strong enough to basically take on the whole world at once, then you probably should avoid it. Alright, next turn. Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? It's been so long since I played this game, I completely forgot about doing this. So if you go to a city-state, you can give it a pledge to protect. Pledging to protect a city-state basically is a guarantee that you will defend them if they are attacked, and it will increase your influence with them. If I had been smart, I would have done this as soon as we found them, because it's really not a great risk since, like I said, people don't really want to attack city-states, especially if they'd have to fight another empire to do it. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, especially since China has already done it here. So I will pledge to protect both Ormus and Pagoda. And that way we'll kind of be competing with China for control of these city-states. Alright. Orders. We'll keep exploring with our guy this way, kind of figure out how the Chinese are situated down there. I want to get that, so I guess the no terrain cost also affects the, what was it called? Zone of influence around units. So I'm going to run over here, grab that ruin. Alright, so we get a map for the area around us. Looks like we're getting towards the top of the map. I don't think that anyone will be up here in the Arctic. So we'll probably send the archer back down, maybe this way. Once we finish up here. So I actually told us that was actually a pretty nice thing, so that we don't waste time going up here. Alright. So I think I'll stop when we reach turn 15. That seems like a good time to do it. So next turn. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. It looks like it's been probably about 20 minutes since I started, so maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. Alright, keep exploring with our warrior, and we'll move our archer back down this way. And nothing else to do, so we'll hit next turn. So I might not have mentioned it, happiness. You have a total global happiness for your whole empire, and happiness is... So unhappiness is generated from having more cities and population, as well as a couple other unique things that can happen, but those are the main ones. So basically happiness kind of acts as a cap on the amount of cities you can have. So the more happiness you have, the more cities you can safely establish, because if your happiness goes below 0, you start to get some pretty severe penalties to like your production and such like. See, keep our guys exploring, figure out what the continent looks like. Next turn. Actually, it's been too long since I played this game. I should have done this earlier. This is a really fun game. I hope you guys will enjoy it too. This early game is kinda... I guess slow would be the wrong term. It's kind of fast. There's not a ton of stuff you need to do in each turn. Down the ruin. And basically you're just exploring, you're waiting for your city to build things. As you get further and further in the game, it sort of landslides into a huge number of things where you just be spending 10 minutes on doing a single churn. Which is not a bad thing. It's very, very interesting. When you're fighting wars and managing diplomacy and your culture and religions and things. Alright, so in this ancient memory, we got some gold. Let's see, found say we found... Oh yeah, down here we found the barbarian encampment, right. Yeah, so next turn we're going to get pottery. So that'll be nice. We'll get the granary. Right. So this is the first building that allows you to build a faith-producing building. The first... Let me rephrase that. I messed that up at the beginning. This is the first technology that allows you to construct a faith-producing building, which will allow you to establish a religion. Like I said, I'm probably not going to mess with religion. It's kind of it's a big investment of resources that's not particular. That's probably not worth bothering with for the. So it's a big investment of resources that probably isn't always worth bothering with. I mean, if you don't do that, you can put all that effort that you put into that into something else. So it's not a huge loss, but it's just something fun and interesting to do if you are more experienced at the game. Alright, we'll choose our next technology. Let's see. So, let's go look at our area, see what we have around us. We have cattle. There's some bison, some marble. So our next city that we build, I think a good place for that might be down here with all these fish, more bananas, sheep, why did I just say sheep? Cattle. The maximum a city can reach its borders is 3 tiles, so 1, 2, 3. So like that kind of hexagon shape around it. So here it'd probably be nice. It wouldn't intersect too bad with the tiles of the border of this city here. And it would give us some more resources, more food here, and access to this other side of the continent, this ocean here, which would probably take more time for us to go up or around, assuming we can. So I think that in mind... You know what? Let's go for calendar here. It's the next level up because to get that plantation for the cotton. So that should finish sometime after our worker, but that'll be fine. He'll be able to do other stuff around here. Yeah, so we got that done. Hit next turn. Alright, we'll keep moving our archer down here to explore more. And take our warrior on his own adventure. Next turn. Alright, and again, same thing. Kyoto's grown to a 3 population city, so even more production available from it. Only 4 turns left till our worker is done, and 8 turns on the calendar. And I think after this turn I'm going to go ahead and stop it. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment on it, and tell me if you think I can make it any better. This has been Originer, and I hope to see all of you guys next time.